Hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 2 in this series between TLO and Underdark. Game 2 taking place here on Achillean Wastes. TLO in Game 1 just played that superbly. Very well done, holding off what would have destroyed any weaker Zerg player with a very aggressive proxy pylon with Mothership Core. Very effective use of that Time Warp to save some early Zealots and take down some early hatcheries. But TLO, no slouch, able to re-macro, got a lot of Zerglings, or rather just the right number of Zerglings so that he could establish up his third and fourth base, and then after a round of drones, basically took a 30 supply worker advantage into the mid-game. And after a key sniping of the Cybernetics Core and Robotics Facility, stopping the counter to those Hydralisks, TLO just macroed up, let his gameplay come behind him, and then forced Underdark to GG. Will Underdark be able to even up the series at one game apiece? That is the question here, as we now see Underdark not going for that Forge fast expansion. All right, so Underdark letting TLO know have fun. TLO's wishing good luck, have fun, and that initial good luck, I don't know if that's being bad mannered or not. I don't really know how often players are wishing their opponent good luck in a matchup. If you lose a game, you really are saying, you know what, I want to lose to your skill, not to you actually having good luck. But we'll see what's going to come down in this game here, as Underdark now making his way to the natural expansion already. This is a one-gate gasless expand. And what I expect to see here is perhaps the Nexus, followed by a Cybernetics Core, followed by double assimilators, and then trying to get the early Cybernetics. What was that? All right, so Underdark, a little bit of a mistake there. You don't want to see that very often. And are we perhaps going to see another assimilator be placed down here in just a moment? So far, Overlord gonna be flying in, gonna take a look around, spots the pylon, notices that there's nothing on the front door, and perhaps Underdark knows that TLO generally likes to go for a much more macro style game. So TLO did go hatchery first once more, followed by that spawning pool, and we are gonna be now going into a Cybernetics Core on that front door. This is a bit of a problem for Underdark, though. We saw what happened when that front door had a Cybernetics Core without a photon cannon. That Cybernetics Core was focused down pretty easily, and once that Cybernetics Core was down, the gateways, which are normally tier 1.5 to 2 production buildings, all of a sudden can only produce tier 1 units. Zealots, as effective as they are not the counter to Hydralisks, especially if they do not have the Zealot legs upgrade. Alright, for some reason it did not mark me as busy, so let's go ahead and go there once more. So, Overlord's now in the air, coming back over here. Are we perhaps going to be going into a Mothership Core? We should be getting enough gas here in just a second, and once that Mothership Core is out, we should perhaps see a little bit of an aggressive play from Underdark. There's that one Zealot. Are we going to see that Stalker? And then they are going to move out and perhaps try and spot a third base being established either here or here. Normally, Zerg players do try to establish up this base. All you have to do is control this area here. It is rather wide, but it's easier to actually control since you are able to get reinforcements from your third and your main and your natural pretty quickly. Otherwise, trying to come back over here, force fields on the ramp will stop any reinforcements, and that does tend to shut things down just a little bit. All right, creep tumors are being spread out across. Are we going to have very strong creep spread coming in from TLO this time, as we are getting Underdark moving out with this Stalker Zealot combination once again? All right, here you go. Creep tumors are being placed down. Are we going to see an engagement? Yes, we are. The Zealot is absorbing a bit of damage, and one creep tumor does go down. A second creep tumor, I believe, was canceled. There's the Time Warp as the Queens trying to catch up to that Mothership Core, unable to do so. And I believe that's actually a problem. Underdark cannot afford to get a lot of damage dealt to this Mothership Core. Mothership Cores are very fragile, And the entire initial rush in the previous game was assuming that the mothership core didn't take too much damage. Oh, this mothership core may be actually caught in a very bad place now. There are a whole bunch of queens here. And with this, the queens can just start to move over this creep. And if they move over that creep, they can in fact deal a lot of damage here. All right, here we go. There are, queens and zealots now making their way in. One creep tumor is now down. There goes a cancellation there, as we are still trying to fight it out. Spine crawlers, zerglings are going to try to engage. One queen may gets a transfusion in time, and the mothership core goes. And I believe Underdark, who felt so confident and looked so good early in game 1, I believe he's pretty much been answered already. There is queens here at the natural, and with that spine crawler there, it will be pretty much near impossible to try to charge up that ramp. Hatchery already being placed down, spine crawler poking apart at these destructible rocks. Zerglings now taking a look, as we do see that there is one proxy pylon in play. Zerglings now going to surround the zealots, the stalkers, and these units should simply all fall here in just a moment, simply just getting outnumbered. And with these Zerglings and their metabolic boost now, the Stalker doesn't really stand much of a chance. Stalker trying to get away, but it will get taken down. There it goes. TLO sitting on 48 drones compared to 50 probes. Very strong economic opening from Underdark, as we are now getting observers into position as well. There goes this proxy pylon, but in fact, Underdark, true to his style, has a backup proxy pylon at the Zonaga towers on a higher ground, making it relatively difficult for the Zerglings to take this down here. All right, zealots are in position. Zerglings trying to look, and oh, the Zerglings will both back off at one more shot each to fall. Now, Underdark is getting up a proxy pylon here and would normally drop into the third base, but TLO has taken this expansion instead, but still has not destroyed this destructible rock tower. Now, Enduring Locust is being added, and most players, for some reason, do not like Locust. I find Locust to be a very, very effective harassment unit. Not Locust, Swarm Host to be a very, very effective harassment unit, as we now also see a Nidus Worm coming in on the far side of the map. All right, Underdark very much liking to use those proxy pylons and expand out quickly across the map. This may actually be his undoing, as he has a very, very forward base established. Queens and Swarm Host are already in position. There you go. There's an observer here. It does spot all of this, as the Zerglings are going to take down this proxy pylon. Swarm Host now looking to make their way in, going after the Cybernetics core again, and it looks like a repeat of history, as the Locusts, will they get taken down? It looks like they will get the final shot off there just in time. Huge play, as there is an Infestor down here in order to reveal any cloaked units as well. TLO can continue to bombard this location. You can see now Zealots doing a quick run by into the natural expansion, but the Zerglings are there to clean up once again. TLO sitting on 3 bases. Meanwhile, the Protoss sitting on 2. That front door is getting knocked down, as a Warp Prism wants to drop off some units. It most likely will just be Zealots once more, as the Cybernetics core is being rewarped in. Void Rays being brought over. All right, it looks as though the Warp Gate is going to be taking a lot of damage. Those Void Rays are not effective against these Locusts, as Locusts are not armored units. Meanwhile, back here, Queen's able to defend against that Warp Prism drop, and all TLO needs to do is perhaps buy some time for him to get the right composition of units. You can see how much damage is being dealt. Oh, are the pylons going to get taken down as well? It looks like pylons will be falling. There goes one. The Warp Gate looks like it will be falling as well. There goes another. And wave after wave of these Locusts just causing problem after problem. Zerglings now trying to take down this third base here. And I believe Underdark will be waving the white flag in just a second. Will be forced to surrender, as the Locusts are doing their job and keeping all of the Zerg army alive while essentially trading units with Underdark. All right, Swarm Host are ready to go. There is one Infestor in the group here. All right, Nidus Worm Oh, Nidus Worm quickly taken down. Are we perhaps going to see a fungal growth? Yes, there we have it. As the Locusts now trying to make their way in. No, the units are not there long enough. And here we have more Locusts backing off again. Double expanding from TLO. He is expanding to the 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock central location and the 9 o'clock location here on Achillean Waste. And even if Underdark is able to stop one of the expansions, he won't be able to stop both, as TLO has purposely expanded in opposite directions, making it very difficult for Underdark to destroy one, if not both, of those expansions. Mutalisk now transitioned once more, 14 of them in the air, 17 total, as the Nexus is going to get canceled. And what is happening now? There is the GG, and Underdark loses the game in a very, very quick fashion to TLO. Beautiful, beautiful gaming. Game 1. Game 2, more of the same. TLO, after understanding Underdark's particular playstyle, was able to clean up and beat this series 2-0. Now, I would normally say stay tuned for Game 3, but Game 3 is actually an anti-spoiler game, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.